Welcome, welcome. Welcome back, Bob. Welcome, Sandra. Welcome, Eduardo.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming back. Hopefully you got a nice snack in there as we had a little break. And now we go into the two last panels here. And the context for this panel, as Paul mentioned, is a little different. We're going to step back and start to look at some real use cases, and we'll talk about how this works in the field, some engagements from the field. So again, Eduardo, welcome. I'm going to start with you. And Arqia is a very interesting company. We just had a
Mhm.
quick chat about that. You work with a range of enterprise customers delivering dynamic MVNO IoT services. Can you spend a few minutes? Let's start there, describing your service and how you work with customers, please.
Absolutely. So thank you, everyone. Arqia is a full MVNO in Brazil. We carry around 4 million customers on only on IoT M2M in Brazil. The most important thing for us, the differentiation that we have from the other carriers, is that we don't have the radio access networks. So we use their networks, TIM, Vivo, Claro. So they can compete for the coverage or the better 4G or the widest 5G, whatever. So I have them all, and it is easy. It's easier as it can get. So we decided to open our business to in Brazil because Brazil has a lot of restrictions on regulatory roaming, permanent roaming restrictions. So we decided that we cannot open it as roaming, but we can open it as a profile donation. So you can have a profile from Arqia downloaded in an eSIM or preloaded in some UICC regular traditional cards. And you can use our network to support Brazil and maybe complete the solution that some other carriers, some global customers like we have, they don't have presence in Brazil, so we eventually can, let's say, complete the solution using wholesale. Arqia started as a part of the Datora Group in 1996. The Datora Group was founded for voice over IP in Brazil, but in 2013, we decided to do a new business unit, the mobility, and it eventually got to a spin-off. And recently in 2025, we were acquired by Wireless Logic. So we are part now of a almost 20 million SIM cards company, only on IoT M2M. That again is global, but we are still open to have wholesale customers in Brazil because this is a very good and profitable opportunity for Arqia and for Wireless Logic Group.
So one of the things you do, and showing an example here, is because you have multiple carriers, sometimes multiple sources of data, you're known for pulling this together in kind of innovative dashboards that you manage the IoT in the field, but also share some of that with the customers. That's quite an accomplishment. It's a
Right.
lot of complexity and a lot of data that you're pulling from. How have you solved some of those kind of different data sources, the problem of the different data sources, and how to draw the right information and represent?
Sure.
Can you
Sure.
talk through an example?
Yeah. So everybody always talk about know your customer, know what your customer is doing. If he's a good customer that you want to sell watches or that you want to sell a nice car. We think that the real data is on the IoT. That the profitable really data is on IoT. So imagine a lot of sensors. This example that we are showing is our office in Wireless Logic has recently changed the office. So this is a very low code platform, a very low code application that you can build the plant. For example, the floor plant that we have, this is the fourth floor. And on the left side, you can see water, you can see temperature, you can see any kind of sensors that are available, presence, um, whatever is there. You can plug in new devices very fast. Kiron is the name of the software, but the good part is that all of this information is on our office, but it could be any hotel, it could be any car, it could be any shopping center, it could be uh, a very large stadium. So for parking slots, for a lot of things, right? So you can rent the parking place before getting to the mall or whatever, right? But this data is segmented. It's because the owner of the data is the owner of the sensor, or is the owner of the car, or is the manufacturer, or is this or that, right? So we are trying to build an opportunity for these enterprises to bring this data and make it available in a, of course, anonymized way to support maybe a monetization or some other projects based on that, right? And data only, it's not good. So AI comes on top of that. So you can use the data that is processed by AI and you can query the data using AI, right? This is all starting. It's not yet a project. It's the concept that we are bringing to Arqia, and Kiran is a very good example that you can have all these data loaded into the cloud, into a place that um, the information might be processed and then use it for other uh, possibilities.
Yeah, so Bob, with Wavelo, you're actually working on a catalyst, a TMF catalyst project that is leveraging EDA and AI to take advantage of data from different types of devices and in the field. Can you spend a minute describing that project, and we'll show it here for the audience?
What we're doing in our catalyst, it's around IOMT. It's around the internet of moving things. Specifically, our use case is around managing a large amount of drones flying around and providing a security service around international ports. Um, also the tie-in is sustainability, where we want to manage these drones, but manage the energy of the drone output to keep them optimal for sustainability efforts. So the structure here shows that Wavelo is providing that EDA level where we're having multiple different streams of information that blend not only the business level information from taking service orders and monetization to also all the data that's coming in from the drones, all the telemetry data. So we have those streams defined. Um, that the volume of data that coming in from the drones, we went from a few drones in phase one, and then phase two, we did thousands of drones. Phase three, where we're really hitting on is all the monetization. So in our use cases, a customer comes in, they want to have a port surveilled. So we have actually built out in our product catalog what an offering might look like, including number of drones and what they might be doing, the type of slices we're going to be using in 5G. Drones can be projecting video in low res or in 4K that needs another slice. So we take those orders, we set that up. Um, the drones are flying. We want to make sure that we're getting that telemetry. If they need to have a 4K, we automatically orchestrate the 5G slice on the edge so that we can now stream that high speed video. But then we also are kicking off a usage event, so we're monetizing that. So that's new in phase three. Um, we're also doing assurance on these drones. We wanna make sure that any kind of failures, if the drones fall out of the sky, we can monitor them and we can send them out. CGI is playing a big effort in all the AI work where they're doing conversational AI, but they're also doing machine learning to track that usage of energy that we talked about to make sure that they're meeting those sustainability. Um, and then Digital Route, they're providing a lot of information from the network that a lot of this stuff we have to simulate data. Um, but where Wavelo brings this all together is we're providing orchestration pieces. We're providing that end-to-end view of all the event streams, and then we're also doing that assurance.
So just real quick, the role of the service provider here, talk a little bit about the integration with the EDA with the telecom provider, and was that smooth so far? Because I think you're in phase 2, I believe, of this project, or maybe even deeper.
I think it was smooth. This is for me, the most fun was this phase, because we are defining real life services that they want to sell, and defining how they would take an order, how they would go and negotiate with customers, the flexibility in our product catalog, and then being able to monetize it off that catalog.
So they're looking ahead. They know they can put this in the catalog.
Right.
Sandro, for Dell, we often think about Dell as an infrastructure supplier, but that does not do Dell justice, especially with the work you're doing in the labs around communications and AI-based solutions. Can you talk about a few of those and how that ties into our discussion today around data?
Absolutely, right. First of all, yeah, we are known for being an infrastructure provider. We enjoy being an infrastructure provider. It allows us to be very close to our customers, be them like telecom customers, enterprise customers that are actually deploying these solutions. We learn a lot through that process. And we're also seeing a very important connection point for the industry towards these customers. And you mentioned the labs. So yeah, we have been doing a lot of work in terms of certifying software vendors, certifying applications to run in the infrastructure that we are positioning with telecom companies, with enterprises as well. Wavelo is a great example. Wavelo solution got certified in our Open Telecom Ecosystem Lab. And together with Wavelo, we have more than 80 other companies that have passed through the lab that are collaborating with us, from like very small software vendors all the way to big network equipment providers like Nokia and Ericsson, and also our telecom customers. So it is really great to see all the traction that we see around our solutions and around our lab. And we start to see like very good examples of success coming out of these collaborations as well. Just to point out one, so we had a case together with Chasm Labs, AT&T, and the city of Bellevue in the Washington state in the U.S., where they had an issue with their traffic lights. So having like accidents and sometimes like traffic jams, and they needed a way to optimize basically how these things work. So we all partnered together, together with an AI software vendor as well, to develop a solution to, first of all, gather all the data coming from traffic light cameras. We're talking about gigabytes of data, actually terabytes of data being generated every day, treat them in real time, and generate insights to an AI application that is then helping the city tune the traffic light. So basically, you don't have traffic jams, or if there is, like if they observe like in real time that it is very likely that a pedestrian is actually going to cross whenever they're not supposed to, or they start crossing at the very last seconds of the red light, they actually extend it a little bit to make sure that there is no accident, no one is getting run over, and so on. It's a very successful case, maybe quite simple, but that shows actually how this type of technologies can help not only the high-tech industry, but actually everybody that is walking out on a street and getting us all more safe, right?
So when the customers come in the lab and they want to test solutions like that, simple but important.
Yeah.
Do you find that, thinking of our earlier panels about kind of getting those connections out of the data, are they ready? Do they have, especially, whether it's AT&T in Bellevue, whether it's another service provider, or are you seeing you're going to have to kind of push them to take on architectures like EDA or others, really kind of make those connections?
A lot of the value we deliver is actually help them navigate through the process, right? So it's very seldom that you're going to case that is fully baked before they start talking to us.
Right.
And in the same case, like when we're certifying software, I mean, part of the certification the certification process for software is identifying actually, potential improvements, areas that are actually not quite baked. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot that we bring to this process that is really helping either our customers, our partners, sometimes both, actually iterate through the solution to get to where we are basically supposed to be.
Yep.
Right?
So, Eduardo, Wireless Logic recently acquired you. They also picked up IO, the French organization. Obviously, that makes you even more powerful, I think, I hope.
Right.
So you talked about some of that, some of those IoT sensor-based, kind of creating this dashboard based on disparate data. With this new kind of backing and resource, what do you think's next? Where are you going to take this maybe data centric, value that you're going to get out of these IoT devices in the field?
Right.
You can give us any examples of what?
Of course, of course. I think that the most important part is to try to get our customers, because today we have automotive customers, we have the energy companies, we have water companies. So every possible information that could bring new services for customers or new behavior of the human being could improve something in our society, in the way that we are doing business, in the way that the companies are working. We see that it's always a discussion on ecology and everything, right? So we believe that having all this information available, or bringing this information available and trying to make good things on top of that, will at least start the discussion of sharing this information that your company is having to some of other players on the market, not on the competition level, but on a different level, for the government, for insurance companies, or other possibilities, right? We had a period of very heavy rain in Brazil, and there were some natural disasters, and the sensors and the location of the persons, the cellulars, that helped a lot to find people, to rescue people. So it's not only the smartphone in the future that will do that, but you will have a sensor in your house that you are at home, or you were at home, and the information was there before you leave the house, or before the problem arrives, right? So it's, of course, the raw data is very complex in each one of these sensors, in each one of these possibilities. But with the possibility of taking all this information and put it as a BI infrastructure, if I may say, associated with a very good AI solution, definitely will be a new phase for our society and for the industry, if we understand that we are not giving information for the competition, but for the human being and the quality of life. We are growing in number of people in the world, so we have to take care of ourselves, right?
So earlier today, we were doing an interview with an executive a leader, and we used to talk about some of these projects taking 18 to 24 months, maybe even more, to kind of get up.
Yes.
But when we're saving lives, or rescuing people, or just returning, investment to our customers, we don't have that kind of time. So I'll kind of finish with, what are our secrets to success to make this faster, more effective? And I'll start with you, Bob. You're in the later phase with the Catalyst. Obviously, even though it's 30 minutes, it's a single slide, it's an incredibly detailed process, rigorous process when you go through a TMF Catalyst. What's been some of the secrets of your success to keep that on track and maybe accelerate it to delivering value maybe faster than maybe originally expected on a project like that?
I think it's getting out of some of the silos and those point-to-point interfaces. Hate to beat that drum again, but providing information. We in the sometimes, as the provider of the EDA, we have to kind of facilitate where the information needs to go, and we defined each stream. So each consumer of the data could get the information they needed, so we could make sure that it facilitated them getting the data so they didn't have to do new work. So that made them faster, or we could provide that information in a seamless way. That's probably one of the best ones where we have that information in real time, but in the format and in the way that the consumer wants to pull it in.
Same question for you, Sandra. Obviously, take the Bellevue example or some of the other labs work. Again, the patience of 24 months is probably gone for
Yeah.
making from the day you walk in the lab to the day it becomes a commercially available service. What are some of the things Dell is doing with its partners and its own organization to kind of, what are some of the secrets of that maybe speed success that you hope to see from Excel?
Yeah, I would say that first of all, push for purpose, push for pragmatism as well, right? There's one thing that I always tell the team is that we're not really in the business of running science fairs, right? Even though they're great, right? But we all need to deliver results, right? And I mean, we're engineers. We love technology. Sometimes we get a little bit uh, too focused on technology for the sake of technology. But the reality is that if you want to see benefits and actually create traction so we can continue pushing the limits, we need to generate results fast, right? So really, have a purpose and be pragmatic while you're implementing it. So avoid like taking, segues and start to, playing with stuff. Define what you want to do, find like the shortest possible path, go and execute, reap the benefits, move to the next one, right? Slice the problem. So really take things with pragmatism in hand so you can show results fast and keep things moving.
Eduardo, same question for you. Obviously, again, great. It seems simple on the slide, but a ton of work to pull those sources of data to deliver that value. Whether it's an enterprise customer or you're dealing with a more emergency kind of service delivered. What are some of those secrets of speed success that you're seeing again as Arqia or maybe in the larger organization, which
Yes,
is now a bigger company?
sure, sure. So we are now part of a very large group. Wireless Logic is probably the number one in the IoT business without having a mother company like
Right.
a MNO together with the IoT business unit. But we think that everything you guys said, it's perfect. Slice the problem, try to reduce it. So one of the key points that we think is that having the data, to bring the data on, you have to make it simple. So whatever you are doing, there are a lot of connectors. You can build your connector on Kiron yourself. Like I said, it's a low code development. You can build your data flow there, and you can load all the information on the platform, and you can use it there. But I think that with a global IoT company now, as Wireless Logic is, we have around 20 million IoT devices around with our partners, with our customers. This definitely should bring some value to other enterprises, to other customers, and to try to build some cases, new cases that will come. But definitely start slow, think of what you need, and try to summarize that very simple, just as temperature or um, number of people in the building or something like that, right? But keep track of that information, do something with that, right? And not just to load the data and store the data or try to maybe someday people will use it, right? There is no point on getting data if you're not going to use for, at least for your company, but maybe for other benefits as well. So keep that in mind and offer others the opportunity to learn from what you're doing, like we are trying to do here in the Mobile World Congress for this almost 20 years now, right?
I think so, yeah.
So we believe that this is something we can bring as a value for everyone, right?
Yeah, and I think it's also interesting. Each of you, the examples that you gave, they are a multi-partner environment. You hinted towards it, but I think you would all agree you can't do this by yourself. And again, if we go back 10 years ago, it's very possible that Deutsche Telekom would try to build it themselves, or Telephone. But I think we're at the point, speed is also partnering for speed. I think you would all agree that we get there. I see we're almost out of time, but I do want to make sure we catch any questions from the audience. Alex, please.
Hi. It's a bit of a left field one, but in the catalyst, I noticed the Wavelo was linked with the insurance and then presumably also inventory and maybe orchestration. Is that a classical construct, or have you done something a little different as it ties into EDA and just your methodology?
I missed the last part of that. I'm sorry.
Sorry, the inventory and orchestration that I think you constructed for the catalyst, right? Is that a sort of classical type solution, or have you done something a little bit different because it's
Hannah's going to be right after me. He'll get on that. But what we're building over that ontology is we're building an orchestration and control layer to be able to manage that. So we're leveraging the EDA, but then we can make sure and ensure delivery across that EDA. So in some of the messages or examples I showed where it was kind of your driving point-to-point integration, you can also interject an orchestration that it can deliver those and publish the stream of information to make sure that everything gets connected in a single flow and with guarantee. And also you can start building dashboards around that. So that's how we're implementing it in the Catalyst with that level. Hope that answered that.
Yeah, I'll pick up on that just for a second. It does seem in each of these examples, we're kind of bending the rules a little. We're using existing technology, we're introducing maybe new frameworks, but it does seem like we're trying to kind of do something different with maybe even some legacy formats or technologies or frameworks in order to deliver that. Would you, anything down, let me ask on Eduardo, you're taking both new and old. Is there anything you example of something you did a little different with both either the data or the representation or the use of that data to kind of deliver something new in that?
Yeah, one of the things that I remember we were trying to do, or at least it was still a proof of concept for one of our customers, was related to how this data can be offered to someone else. So the driving behavior, if the camera sense that you're tired. So there are a lot of things that are on our customers. Uh, type of curves, brakes, and all these that are not only the tracker of the device, I mean the device tracker to get the measurements of the car or the tire pressure or the temperature of the engine. Right. But also try to bring something else, right? So this is something that we're discussing with some customers to try to, let's say, not put the smallest device or the cheapest device that you can use, but maybe to increase the capabilities of these devices, especially when we're talking about cargo, we're talking about trucks. We have some customers that have that type of solution. So I think that at the end of the day, what we are trying to do in the idea of having the data is again to not to cross the data with other stuff, but to allow the capability to read something else on top of that data. So the camera is one of the examples that we see for taking care of the driver,
right?
Especially in Brazil, where there are not a lot of trains to move cargo between states or long distance. Everything is through trucks, and the drivers have to get there next day 5 a.m. and so it's quite risky for the company, for the driver, for the human. Yeah, for the other guy that is on the road that doesn't have anything to do with that.
Right.
So anything that is related to data is something that we can improve.
Yep.
And I believe that when people understand that IoT is much more than simply connecting things or putting some AI to talk to another AI to solve some mechanisms. For example, one of the CRM that we are implementing in Brazil, especially in Arqia, will have a personalization of your the AI will be personalized for you.
Right.
So you are going to call and he's going to say, "Hey, Paul, how are you doing?" or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you will not have to tell who you are, what is the problem, or something like that, right? So IoT is much more than just have a sensor on the fridge if the fridge got heat
Right.
on the night, and all the food that is there, it's not good anymore.
Yeah, I'm putting words in your mouth, but part of the secret of success is maybe break or stretch some of those systems to really deliver more than maybe we originally intended. And again, to use that data to make better, healthy, safe decisions.
But the point is, we can monetize this, and
Yes.
not only offer this as a bonus to someone, right? For a company that is non-profitable, right? But especially for those that are investing to get all this data, but use it as for something else, not for maybe for the competition, but for something else, right?
Wonderful. Okay, gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your inputs and great ideas and great review of those case studies.
Thank you so much.